Good evening, rail fans, and it's the stream literally nobody asked for, where we have a look at the new East Coastway DLC for Train Sim World. Be doing passenger stuff mostly tonight, and let's not hang about, just get fired straight in. We'll do a run west to east along the main part of the line, come back again, and then we'll have a run down to the Seaford branch line. It's not a very long route, it takes about 25-30 minutes each way. Gives you a wee bit of time at the start to do a quick cab setup as well. Takes almost as long to go through the loading screens. Hey Tommy, good to see you, man. How are you? Right, so let's just very quickly get the key in, the reverser set. Oh, I'll get lots of these pop-ups because I haven't actually... oh, that's the wrong side as well. Ah. I haven't played this on this account yet. I've been playing it on my main account. So there's all the safety stuff there. AWS last. And headlights up there. There we go. Glad to hear it, Tommy. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Been very, very busy lately, so that's why there's been not much going on the channel. Let's just have a little look outside. So you don't have to set the destination boards or anything, they're on by default for you. The tail lights and everything are set as well, which is fine. Not sure exactly what the start time is, so wait till 8:32, that's fine. Time to have a little look around. So in Brighton Station. Can't get the camera up very high just now, but there is a lot of detail going on out there once we leave the station. Yeah, you can open these as well if you want. Not sure why you would, but... Right, let's get ready to go. Love the new head shake thing, the camera shake. So it's not a brilliant sightseeing cab, this, it has to be said. There we go, there's Brighton in all its glory. There's absolutely no slowdown or anything when you're going through here as well. It's quite impressive. So it's a combination handle control there. It's pretty easy, fairly straightforward. Really nice smooth train to drive as well, it has to be said. It's a very quiet train though. So AWS there for the yellow signal, but I'm not going to worry too much because the next main is actually beyond the station. There's AWS everywhere along this line because it's used for all sorts of stuff as well as just for signals in some places. It's used to guard unbarriered crossings, speed limit changes, things like that. We had one a bit further back, which I think is for the speed limit change that only applies to locomotives, not to multiple units. But it's there nonetheless. I think I've got my cursor sensitivity maybe set a little bit differently on this account to my main, because cursor feels a lot more sensitive than I'm used to. Not to worry. So arrival time due was 8:37, 8:30. It's a 30-second stop time. Falmer you can get an entire 8-car set on quite comfortably. Not all of the stations you can. These screens don't work sadly. Not let me open that door either, sometimes does. And off we go. So the next station is Lewes, which is one of the ones where you can't quite, if you stop short of the signal like you're supposed to, you can't quite get the whole thing on. But this actually lets you open some of the doors as opposed to all the doors. Yeah, there's some buttons hidden away up inside here for the AWS and stuff like that. I think there are some controls over on the second man's seat as well. So it's quite a steep descent here, where you just need to keep knocking the brakes. The speed set controls do work, but I don't know if I'm just using them wrong, but I always seem to end up going over the limit anyway when I've got that plugged in, so just don't bother with it, to be honest with you. So out in the countryside now. You see there's a divot missing off the roof, or one big divot out of one of the carriage roofs here. 377 can actually be configured to run off overheads as well, so that's where the pantographs and things would be on a unit that was set up to run from overhead catenary. These ones are all obviously set up to use the third rail down there. Let's just put the camera back where it belongs. Yeah, I know, man, you set the speed and then you press the yellow button, but it still seems to just cruise on over the speed limit no matter what I do with the throttle, whether I leave it at 1 notch or no notches or any notches at all. It just it'll go over on an incline, so I just don't bother with it. You get a little blue marker appears down here, same as when you're using AFB, but it doesn't seem to be particularly effective. Oops, a wee bit late getting down to 10 there, but never mind. Very slow entry to Lewes. So we have to draw up just shy of the signal. You're not supposed to go past them. But what that means is that the back end of the train is still hanging off. So what you do is you use this button here instead, and you'll see on the screen just the front cars, the front set's doors open. I can get the camera to cooperate with me here. So this door's open on the front set, while the doors on the rear set have stayed firmly shut. Supposed to pop the DR on. Discovered you are actually supposed to pop the DRA on when you're at a station with the doors open. Quite short stops. Oops, didn't mean to put the brakes back on there. Takes a while for the rear to clear the 10 zone. And we can pick it up again. I think it's a fairly quick section out to Berwick. That's the junction there that goes down to Seaford. I think that's what it's called, isn't it? Seaford, down towards Newhaven and Seaford. Full welling out. I think 90 is the fastest stretch of line. There's actually quite a lot of whistle boards along this line as well. I probably missed a couple of them being outside. Probably pay attention to the signals, huh? So out into the open country now again. Nice high-speed section. Just over a mile to run now, so we'll get ready to start losing some speed. Always get the braking just a little bit messed up coming into this station. I'm not sure if we'll quite fit both sets on. Well, we might do actually. Oops. Oh, didn't mean to turn that on either. A little bit further forward than I meant to be. Oh, not the end of the world. Or you can stop just shy of the signal and just leave the rear sets closed. I'm not sure at what point you would trip the train protections if it was red, so I'm not sure if you're actually supposed to draw up quite that close to alongside it. So Polegate, and then I think the next station after that is Eastbourne itself, so that's quite a quick run. Can't unfortunately do a turnaround and drive it back because the train itself is actually going on to Hastings. I think this one's supposed to go to, so the AI will just drive it off the edge of the map after we're done with it. think I might have missed another whistle board there, but not the end of the world. Does make a really pleasant change driving a UK route in something that was built after 1960 as well, has to be said. I put so much time into Great Western back when the game was new that I find it actually quite difficult to go back to it now, just because I did so many runs along there in the early days. Although I do go back and play with the 125 sometimes. So AWS just warning us about a speed limit change there. It's not always entirely obvious what the AWS is for at some points along this track. You just remember and follow the rule of thumb. If you hear it, just remember to look up and see what's coming. Because sometimes it's not far down the track from a green signal, so that being the case, it's not necessarily for that signal. You might find that there's an open level crossing or something. So Polegate's a nice long platform. We can comfortably get the whole train on. There we go. And with about 15 seconds to spare. The times are, generally speaking, quite generous as well, I've found. It's fairly easy to keep to the timetable, more or less. So again, quick stop. And we can turn the DRE off. Straight into a 35 for this tight corner. Oh, Hampden Park still to go as well. I had no idea until this week that there was a place down in, I suppose this is Sussex that we're in. Don't know my southern counties very well. Very surprised to know that there's a town that shares its name with the Scottish National Football Stadium. There's also a Berwick nearby me as well, North Berwick. Just about 10 miles along the coast from where I am. So as soon as you're in that corner, it's back up to 70 again. It's that one little slow bit there. So easily long enough to get the whole train on. Not driven it often enough to remember off the top of my head which are all the ones that I need to leave the rear doors shut. Oh, lock the doors already. And let's get going again. And the last stop is Eastbourne. And then we'll jump back out to the menu and pick a return trip. See if I can time it so that we see one of the excursion trains on our way back. go. Oh, we just made it to the speed limit nicely. Good enough. Cleaner, notice to the cleaners up behind us here. And a reminder not to open the windows either. And that's the end of that. So that's west to east. You see there, 37 and a bit minutes. It's not the shortest route that there is, nor is it the longest by a comfortable margin, no. So it's there's no point trying to carry on and do the return trip, because as I said earlier, this unit's actually going to be driven off the map to the east by the AI. It just doesn't let you take control. I have tried it. So we'll dive back out to the main menu. Timetable. What shall we have it? Let's make it a winter day. Even though we all know that in real life, the second that there was a sign of a snowflake, that Southern Rail would probably come crashing to a halt, as they do. Let's see if we can time this so that we get one of the... Right, so we'll take a 12:36 one westbound. Should work out just nicely timing wise. This is a train from Hastings heading back to Brighton. And then we'll take a trip down to the Seaford branch line. So that's the doors they can open up between compartments when you've got something else, when you've got it joined together to other units. So there's all the train safeties now turned on. Get some wiper action going. We're getting underway very shortly anyway. Almost no point in turning the DRA on, but never mind, we did it anyway. I wondered why I could hear the doors opening. I hadn't noticed there was another train sitting next to me on the platform there. There's the carriage wash off to the left there. Pretty cool when you drive through it, when you're doing the taking a train into service or out of service at the end of a shift, because the brushes, they spin up and you actually see the water spray and stuff like that as you go through. It's kind of a neat little touch. Can't even see the front of the train, man. Jeez, oh. Possibly just a little sharpish on the brakes there. Jump back in the cab because we've not got a lot of time to sit here. We'll be more or less. There we go. Lock the doors. DRE off. And the guard would have given you a double ding to tell you that they were satisfied. You can go, and then that's when you reply with the two. So you don't get the guard giving you the signal in the first place, but when I remember, I usually give the response anyway. There's a little table up there. You need to sort of stand up and walk right up to see it, but there's a little table up there with all the different signals you can send with that button are. Not that they've got any practical use in the game, of course, but not to worry. DSD kicking in there because we've not moved the controls for about half a minute or so. And AWS just reminding us of a speed limit change coming up. It's 35 for this really tight corner up ahead. Back into a 90 zone, but we've got Polegate just ahead of us, so there's no point in, by the time the rear of the train clears that sign, there's going to be no point in accelerating at all. It's actually quite difficult to judge when you can't even see the end of the platform. So about half a minute early. Let's have a little look around. Yeah, cool graffiti. We can get reasonably far away from the platform. So you can actually see through the windows. The doors are closed inside or opened up inside the unit, so you can actually walk between the two connected sets there. We're going to fly the camera inside. The door's still locked between them. Right, let's get back into the cab because we're getting ready to go. Just check that the doors have closed. And off we go. So it's a pretty high speed section all the way to Berwick. again, just the DSD kicking in there. I think we'll get rid of the snow for the next leg, because you can't really see very much, which is a shame because it's a really nice route, this, scenery wise. I hadn't realised just how severe this was going to be. Oh wow, it's almost a whiteout. Just a little bit too quick on the brakes there. So not quite got the whole thing on, so we're not going to open all the doors, we're just going to open the front car set, which you do with that button there. And you can see just the front set doors turn red. You notice it still says unlock doors up here because I haven't opened all the doors. So you just need to sort of be keeping an eye on that yourself. You won't get the prompt to close them again when the time runs up when you do it this way. See? Manuela, guten Abend. Good evening to you, sir. Welcome. Alright, just having a wee play about with the new East Coastway. Unfortunately, there's not a huge amount to see because I had no idea just how severe the snow effect was going to be. I will fix that for the next leg. Only just made out the whistle board stuck to the signal mast there as well. This time we're stopping at Glynde. I think that might be a short platform. Jeez, can't see a thing. Front of the train now completely gone from vision. And that was a rail tour, an excursion train going past us. If you have Northern Transpennine and Tees Valley, you can also use the locomotives from them. By default, it always seems to be a pair of 66s pulling it. But if you do have the other DLCs, you can actually you can drive almost any of those on it. I feel they missed a trick not giving us the West Somerset stuff though. That would have been quite cool. Oh, I'm really sorry, Manuel. I don't know a great... Well, I don't know any German, really, to be honest with you. Sorry. Oh, way too early on the brakes there. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're actually running just ever so slightly behind time as well. So again, we'll just open the front set. Back end is hanging off the platform a bit. I don't think you can actually get the whole thing on anyway, even if I had crept a bit further forward. No. You're always going to have at least one car hanging off the back of this platform. So, front doors only. And off we go. Next stop is Lewes, and you just have to be careful of the speed limit traps on the way in. Ah, okay, Manuel. Thank you for joining anyway, my friend. We'll maybe catch you again sometime. Just keep half an eye on the speed because we are coming up to a slight reduction. Let's just start coasting, in fact. Chris Hart, hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks. I hope you're well, mate. Good to see you. Fumbling my way blindly along the East Coastway here. Absolutely love this though. It's I was a bit wary about the length of it when it came out, but I have to say, absolutely loving this. Really nice to have some modern stock, some familiar stock. To lose from the east is basically a series of speed reductions. A little bit more. There we go, into the 40 zone and then almost immediately into a 20. The verdict is worth it. I'll definitely get my my £25 out of this, that's for sure. What you can't see, because I had no idea how severe the snow effects were going to be, is just how gorgeous the scenery is on this route. I'll fix that for the next one though. I think I'm actually going to... This could be the first one I've done where I'm going to be late, because I seem to have lost a bit of time. And I think I lost it all back at Hampden Park when I buggered up the approach because I couldn't see the damn station. So again, we're not quite going to get the whole train onto the platform. So back end still hanging off slightly, so we'll just open the front sets up. Not going to have much time sitting here either, because as soon as the passengers are loaded, we're going to have to get underway again. It's fair to say this is not a sightseeing cab, Chris. Very much designed to keep your eyes forward. So a 10-mile-an-hour crawl out, and then we can open it up a little bit on the way to Falmer, and I can't remember if the Hastings train stops at London Road, or whether that's just the Seaford ones, which is where we're going next. In fact, I should probably have the night lights on in this weather, shouldn't I? Yes, I do have the cabsway turned on. I mean, people are saying it's a bit extreme, but I mean, the last train I was on was about a week ago, and admittedly I'd had a few drinks before I got on it, but I nearly got knocked off my feet when the bloody thing went across the set points on its way into the station that I was getting off at. So my most recent experience of a train was that it did rock about quite a bit. I quite like it. I think it's quite good. I think the lateral movement, forward and back, not the lateral movement, the longitudinal movement, forward and back, is a bit on the severe side. I mean, when you put the power on, your head gets pushed back, and you think, you know, it's like the effect on some Formula 1 games or racing car games when you've got this stuff all switched on. It's maybe a bit severe under braking as well, but the side to side, the actual cab bounce as you go along the line it's all right. I've been on bouncy trains before. If you watch that screen against where the cursor's not moving on the left there. It's the cabsway that's doing all the moving. Although I've not really tried many other routes. It might be worse on some cabs than others, I don't know. Because I have played pretty much just this since the update. I know the update that put that in came out a day or two before, but I've had so little time the last few weeks that I've not really played very much at all. Mile and a half to go to Falmer. I think I was maybe a bit sharp on the brakes here again. It does pause occasionally, I've noticed. More than other routes, you get a freeze for a second or two. I think this station we can comfortably get the whole thing on. Yeah, there we go, that's fine, the back was on. I think actually about 15 seconds early. It's a very nice cab though, it's a very detailed cab. None of the switches up here do anything. The passenger cabin lights are on by default, so you don't have to worry about them. There is a, where's the cab light switch again? There's a cab light, but it only lights up the offside there. It doesn't really make a difference on the driver's side. And the only other light is this little notice board clip down by your left elbow. Not sure how you pronounce this station name. Mulescombe? Mulescombe? There's two services that go the full length. They're the Hastings trains and the Orr trains. The trains going to Orr stop at some stations. The trains going to and from Hastings have got a slightly different set of stops. I think the Hastings ones actually make a couple of extra stops that the Orr ones don't. So the destination boards, they're automatically set so far, I've found. I've not actually had to adjust one, but if you want to, you press the PIS button there and you can scroll up and down through the list to set the one you want. Not sure how clear that button is on the stream. I'll focus the camera in on it at the next stop. This is another short platform, so we'll only be opening the forward doors. So on this screen here, you can press that PIS button, and there's a scrollable list of all the use the up and down controls to go through all the destinations. Some interesting ones on there. I wonder if they're maybe thinking ahead to the future for extending the route, perhaps. Because London to Brighton is what, about 40 miles maybe? Is it that far? If they wanted to do the old Gatwick Expresses and stuff as well, maybe. And the next stop, Brighton. So AWS, that'll be for the speed limit sign. Just to remind me there's a change coming up. So if it wasn't a whiteout, there'd be a really nice view of Brighton right now. Because of my stupid choice of weather conditions, can't see very much. Hey, the GTR concept, good to see you, welcome. Yes, this is the DLC. We're just about to arrive at Brighton, so I'm going to do another run out to Seaford, and I'm going to make sure that the weather is set such a way that we can actually see some of it this time. I had no idea how severe the snow effects were going to be, because they're usually not this. This must be another change they've made, because I'm sure they're not normally quite this bad. Oh, love the NRM. Haven't been there for, must be about 5 or 6 years the last time I was there. My girlfriend at the time had a job interview in York, so we decided to make a wee trip of it. Took a few days down there. And her interview was one of these all-day things, where she had stuff to do in the morning and more of it in the afternoon. So I just took myself to the NRM for the day. It was fucking brilliant. Only downside, it was the middle of November, so none of the stuff was running out in the yards or anything like that. But hey ho, it was quiet, so I had more or less the whole place to myself. There we go. Just a quick unload. I made it more or less on time the whole way there as well, even though I was losing time early on. The times are fairly generous in this. Can't help wondering if they've done that deliberately just so that the forums and Facebook groups don't descend into an orgy of jokes about how accurate it is regarding Southern Rail's timekeeping. So there we go, another gold medal. Hey, for whatever those are worth. Right, I'm going to go for a very quick bathroom break before I do the next bit. I shall be just a moment. let's get cracking on with this. This time we'll do Brighton to Seaford. We'll make sure the weather's nice and pleasant for it. Let's make it a... let's just make it a summer's day. Brighton to Seaford. Let's just pick one. This is an all stops to Seaford. We need to go back and play some more of that Peninsula Corridor as well. I didn't do. Probably the one I played the least out of the recent releases. See, recent releases, it's been that long that I think we're due. The next one we're due is probably going to be the an American one if they keep to the pattern so far. Okay, so key in, reverser forward, open the doors. So all the safeties are up here. And the last one, AWS. Headlights to daytime. So you'll see without me having to touch anything that the destination board's already set by itself. The tail lights and everything are automatic. So this is just a 4-car set. This is a little short one, so there's no mucking about with front doors and rear doors and things on this one. It's just one set the whole way. Network Southeast, that'll be this one. East Coastway, I think, was the old Network Southeast, wasn't it? Well, half a minute to go. Let's see if we can fly the camera out. That's a bit better. So there's Brighton. And this somewhat iconic station roof. I used to have a DLC for Microsoft Train Simulator that had Brighton in it as well. In fact, I had two, because one of them you could go along the coast to the west towards Bognor and what have you, and I had another one that went up to London. I'm sure I've still got a hard drive somewhere with all that stuff on it. I might need to dig it all out one of these days. Okay, so first stop London Road, which was that station we saw just outside Brighton on the way in last time. Lines off to the left there go up to the carriage sidings, and the ones sort of centre off to the left, that's the London line, and the westbound lines. I think, is this the London Road Bridge, I think this is called? or the London Road Viaduct, rather. So you'll be able to tell us how accurate this all is then, GTR Concept. This is where we finally discover how much cheating DPG do these routes. You can fly the camera up here. No, can't fly the camera any higher. I have to say, man, that visually, certainly this is one of the best they've done, if not the best they've done so far. And I know some people have not been too thrilled about the length of it. That's not been an issue to me. Let's just nip out, have a little look. That's what you call attention to detail there. I like all these little sort of touches. Let's quick look on board. Oh wow, even the internal destination things work. Right, let's get back down to the cab. I like this as well, the whistle button. Apparently the story behind that button is that quite a lot of the sort of the depots and the carriage sidings and things that these machines operate in and out of, they're in built up areas, and that is less disturbing at unsocial hours to the neighbours than a horn is when the train's entering or leaving a depot, but still loud enough to be heard by the boys and girls who need to hear it when they're working in those areas. Right, so we've actually got a couple of minutes at this station. Molescombe, I've got no idea how to pronounce that, I'm afraid. But I think this might be the one station where I've already... this machine is card only. Oh, let's go and get a map. So Falmer, then Lewes, then we'll be heading down to South-East Newhaven, Bishopston, Seaford. I used to live in a place called Newhaven. It's a suburb of Edinburgh now, but It used to be a fishing village on the Firth of Forth before it was swallowed up by the city. In the 1950s, 1960s, I think it ended up getting swallowed up by the city of Edinburgh. And it's got the various mixed seating layouts in the different cars, of the first class at either end, and the 2x3 and 2x2 down the middle. Right, we better leg it back up to the driver's cab. Fucking click spots. There we go. And we're off. Nice if the click spots had some magnetism. I entirely agree with that, Chris. I think I've moaned about that plenty of times before. Oh, there's a motorway under there. My geography of the south coast is absolutely rubbish. I don't even know what county this is in. I think this is this Sussex. Maybe you can help me with that GTR concept. I don't even know what county I'm driving in. Yeah, £25, man. That's the bog standard for any new DLCs. In my opinion, I will get more than £25 worth of value out of this. But it's entirely, everybody's view on that is different. I get that. It ain't a cheap hobby. East Sussex. But they do have lots of sales. This stuff does come up on offer quite a lot. Definitely worth keeping an eye on the store. Certainly after the next DLC comes out, I would watch for this one going on offer. But no, I do get it. 25 quid. It is you can get a whole game for that. I think I'm a little bit desensitized to it because I've been playing with simulators for the best part of 2 decades now. I used to do a lot of it on PC, and it's always been, because it's quite a niche market, it has always been quite expensive to buy these things. I don't begrudge it for a company like Dovetail. I mean, they're not making Activision or Electronic Arts money by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, the last set of accounts they published that I saw, their turnover was only about 1.2 million, which is pretty small for the amount of stuff they're putting out. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm the first person to complain when a company like Activision does something shitty like hide a KD display behind a $20 paywall. It's a contentious subject sometimes. And I guess it all comes down to what you consider to be value for money. Oh, forgot to turn my DRA on again. Bad boy. So, next station is Lewes. Fairly quick run out to there. So see, there's a big divot missing out the roof of one of the carriages here, because of course the 377 can be configured to run off overhead catenary as well as off a third rail like it is here. The only part of this pack that I would say I'm slightly disappointed about is the freight side of it. It is a series of very short runs, about 10 minutes each, from the junction at Lewes down to New Haven, and then you do a little bit of mucking about with an aggregate hopper thing. If you've played Tees Valley, you'll know the thing I'm talking about. I don't know what they call it, the gantry thing you drive under and it fills your hoppers up, and then a 10-minute trip back up. There's about 3 or 4 of those throughout the day, so I think if you're a freight fan, you might feel a little bit let down by this, but to be honest with you, I mean, it is such a good pack. The detailing that's in it and the passenger side of it more than makes up for that. As somebody who is a bit of a freight guy, I don't feel that let down by it. Like I say, it's a minor niggle I've got about the thing. If I really want to drive freight trains, I can go and play on umpteen other routes to satisfy all my freighty desires. And also, as I was mentioning earlier, and you might have noticed at the menu screen all those locomotives that I could select to drive. If you have Northern Transpennine and or Tees Valley, you need Northern Transpennine to get the day trip, the rail tour trains to show, because that's where the coaching stock comes from. You can use any of the Transpennine locomotives, and if you've got the 31 for Tees Valley, you can use that as well, which is kind of cool. Single service a day, 12.44, goes from Lewes to Eastbourne. And you will see that running as part of the AI traffic as well. Always seems to be a pair of 66s in EWS colours that are operating it when it's the AI driving it. I have seen on Facebook and what have you, some people have said they've seen 31s and 37s and what have you operating it. I've only ever seen the 66s. But it's still a very cool idea. Could have been even cooler if they'd given us the stuff from West Somerset to use with that. That would have been awesome. And I feel possibly more in keeping with rail tours, but again, really minor niggle there. Really, really minor complaint. Yep, the Eastbourne services all stop at Hampden Park. Didn't even know. I said earlier on in the stream before you joined me, I didn't even know there was a place called Hampden Park down there. Because if you know your Scottish football at all, you know that Hampden Park is where we regularly host others to get our asses kicked. I'm not sure they're quite that constant in the sim. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 trains an hour going down there on this. Oh, should have popped the DRA in. Keep forgetting about that. Okay, Chris Hart, thanks very much for joining, man. We'll catch you again next time. Always a pleasure to see you. Oh, overspeed, shite. Enjoy the rest of your evening, bud. And we'll catch you again another time. So we should be able to pick the speed up very shortly. There we go. So it's 20 straight into 40. You have to be careful up here because it's quite tempting just to rattle it straight up to 60 and forget about the junction just beyond that. Which, if you're headed in the direction of Eastbourne, is fine. And if you're going to Seaford, not so fine. Don't think there's that much point in accelerating anyway, but I'll just wind it back down to 40 gradually. The timetable is very generous on this route, so not feeling the need to totally cane it here. So the AWS there was for the speed limit reduction, which is for locomotive haul trains. It doesn't apply to us. The next one does. Mild use of fog off on the horizon there, but compared to the draw distance for something like Tees Valley when that came out, it's actually pretty good. Again, early on the brakes there, but I don't really know this section of the line at all yet. I've only been down here maybe once. Just make sure we get the whole thing on. Yeah. Easy. Right, let's get ready to close the doors up here. Forgot my DRE again. Such a smooth train to drive as well. We're getting AWS just to remind us about the reduction warning sign. Loads of AWS on this line compared to the Great Western. It's used quite heavily along here for stuff other than just signals. There we go, into the 35. The station should be just coming into sight. Hello, Godson Travis. Yes, pretty much all I do on here is Train Sim World. Not the only game I play, but it is the only one that I stream. Okay, I wasn't actually paying attention to what the arrival time was supposed to be, so not sure if I've got a long wait here or straight off again. Straight off again. So hardly any distance at all to the next stop. Ah, cool. Ferry terminal. I didn't notice the ferry terminal last time I was down here. I don't think I actually looked outside though the last time I was down here. Is that, I think, did the crossings here go to Dieppe maybe? Rings a vague bell. Ah, cool. So it is Dieppe. So I saw the railway line going on down there. Is there a train ferries go across as well from there, maybe? Or is that just a like a terminal down there. Clearly been a station here at some point. Nothing on the sign to give us a clue. Ah, so I guess this was a double line at some point, looking at the platform spacing. Obviously been a victim of cuts at some point in this station. Ah, caravan park, cool. Let's just close them up. Ah, there's the seaside. Right, see how long it is before this thing's due to go back up the line. Might go back to the menu rather than do a turnaround. Just let them finish getting off. Right, so 38 minutes, about the same length of time as it takes to do the trip to and from Eastbourne. Let's just jump back into the into free roam. 12:24:36. It's too long to wait. We'll just jump back to the menu and grab it, methinks. And then this will be the last one of the night, and then I think what I'll do is I'll do a separate one looking at the rail tours and the. Let's have a bit of rain. We'll do a separate one looking at the rail tours and the freight. So Seaford to Brighton. Not that there's much to see for the rail tours, mind you. It's a single service. Goes from goes from Lewes out to Eastbourne, and that's it. You don't even get to drive it back. It's a cool little touch, though. Again, just turn all the safeties on. And just wait for the train to load up. So 20 seconds. Oh, should probably turn the wipers on, eh? It's got all the usual stuff like the clickable blinds and things like that. Okay, so that's oh shit. Oh, overshoot. Buggery, buggery, buggery. my eye. That's going to be far too far. Not paying enough attention. Oh, well, we're not going to be on time now, that's for sure. I hope there's not a signal. There's no signal back down here. No, not your fault, mate. Mine's entirely. Not the first time I've done it, just the first time in a long time, that's all. Right, that's better. I might get some of that back. There was a few stops where I was waiting for a few moments anyway before going, so... Oh no, I've got a red now. I might be able to get past that. I don't know if it'll count that one. Oh, I think I'm going to get a spad when I try this. Let's find out. Not to worry, it was only the first station. We can always take a do-over. Yeah, there we go. Ah well, been a while since I had one of those. It was only the first stop. I remember doing that once years ago on Microsoft Train Sim on one of those stupid long, like 3-hour routes that you used to be able to get for it. I think it was the East Coast. I'd come all the way from, I think from York, and I ran a red just outside King's Cross, and oh, it threw me straight out. That I was not very happy at. Right, take two. Okay, headlights. Ah, lost the sound on the wipers for some reason. And I've unlocked the wrong side. There we go. Getting myself all flustered there. I think actually the main reason I did that was more because I was looking out the window and looking at the scenery than anything else. Did set the lights, didn't I? Yeah. You can get away with it as long as even one set of doors is still over the platform. You can get away with doing that, but not when you're 2 or 3 train lengths down the line from the end. we go. Much better. And more or less on time as well. I think we're going to be basically off straight away. Okay. See, there was the problem I had, is that as soon as you pass that signal it goes red again, so you can't back up. Well, you can back up because there's not one pointing down this way, but once you've gone beyond it, what I should have done was just tiptoed it back till the back set of doors was over. I think if I hadn't gone completely past that signal mast, I'd have got away with that. Nice. Yeah, so we've got a few moments to wait. You really have crammed a lot in here. And there's never any. You get the occasional big pause for some reason, and it tends to happen up around Lewes more often than not. But you never get much in the way of performance issues, despite everything they've crammed into the scenery. I've absolutely not yet once seen anything just pop into view as I arrive on top of it. That happened a couple of times with Ruhr Austin, annoyingly. There's a few places where the tracks disappear and what have you. I haven't had any of those issues with this one. It's definitely right up there amongst the most polished of the DLCs they've released. Lewis, right, okay, gotcha. Thank you. Oh, it's because there's a bridge there. I wondered why the camera was basically sticking to the front of the train. Get ready to move off again. So many level crossings down here as well. Right, so we'll be able to pick it up most of the way now. So this thing here, this is where the this is as far as the goods trains come down from Lewis. See, got it now. Yes. This is as far down as the freight trains come, and it is literally, it's about a 10-minute trip for them. So it's a bit light on the freight side, but like I said before, not a massive complaint. There's plenty of other freight stuff to do in this game. Oh, a wee bit too fast. Oh, another whistle board there. Those whistle boards, presumably for the unguarded crossings down there. Camera keeps catching on. Oh, it's the lampposts. They've still never fixed that where it catches on the lampposts if the lamppost gets between the camera and the train. Wasn't paying much attention to my time there, so yeah, we're just going straight away. I'm not entirely sure what the... oh no, we're back on the main line before we get to the station. So again, approaching from the east, it's at sort of a phased slowdown. 70 to 40 to 20 to 10. And they all come really quickly after each other once you're past that 40 sign. Oh, what's that for? Oh, it's for the reduction sign. They put the speed limit reduction sign way in advance of the actual reduction up here. It's another mile and a bit to go. I'm not sure why it's so far away, because it's not like you're going to be coming up here at 125 or anything like that. So reduction to 40 for the junction. And then the limit does go back up to 60, but there's probably not that much point in going that fast along here, because we almost instantly have to get back down to 40. AWS again, that's just for the upcoming reduction signs. And then 500 yards down the line it's 20, and then straight from that into a 10 usually. Although I think that depends, yeah, if we're going over the points it's down to 10. And there's the excursion train waiting to go, the rail tour. train that's sitting to our left, I think that gets to go first, and then the rail tour goes just after it. Oh, I've opened the wrong side. Ha! Divvy. Oh no, I had opened the right side. I don't know why I hadn't registered them, because the reds are all on. That's bizarre. I swore I'd opened them properly. Oh well, c'est la vie and all that. Blimey, busy here. That's, apart from the stations at the end of main Spessart, I don't think I've seen that many AI trains in one place before. And those don't count because you only ever see one or two of them moving at a time. Thanks for bringing this back to your attention. No worries, my man. It's always a pleasure to stream these things anyway. It's a little bonus for me when I find out somebody got something useful from it. I can definitely say, absolutely recommend this pack. It's very, very good. Thoroughly enjoying it so far. I have spent a couple of days on the main account playing around with it just to get the hang of it. You wouldn't think so from the number of cock-ups I've made, but yeah, definitely worth the money, I would say. So not very far to go now. It's just Falmer, the other one I can't pronounce, and I think London Road are the last three. Weren't the Falmer one of the bad guys in the Skyrim as well? Were they not the ones that lived in the caves underground? I have a funny feeling I've seen that word somewhere before. And I'm convinced it was in an Elder Scrolls. I thought so. I knew I'd seen that word somewhere. It's been bothering me for a couple of days why I know that word, because I've never been to... I don't think I've ever been to Sussex. I might have passed through the very edge of it once upon a time. I've certainly never been to any of these places. Oh, speedy, speedy. there are speed set controls here, and they do work in as much as you can set the speed and you can turn the thing on. But I probably just haven't read the manual properly, but I can't get it to actually work properly. I always end up just going over the speed anyway. I might need to head on over to Steam and download the manual just to see if there's something I've missed there. Bit sharpish on the braking again. Nothing too terrible, we're still making nice time. My balls up with the doors at the beginning notwithstanding. Oh, gone past the 4-car stop. Was the 4-car stop signposted? Or is it just an arbitrary point on the track that the driver's meant to know? That's the 2 to 3. Oh, there it is, 4 to 5, so no, I did go past it. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Right. Yeah, this next one, this is another one that I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. Mulescombe? Mulescombe? Mulescombe. Thank you. I'm sure I must mangle so many of the place names on the German routes when I stream those as well. Mulescombe. Need to remember that. Must also remember to stop the train. Ah, we're good. Nice. Yeah, I think the idea is that that's what that little window is for. That's, you should be able to see your stopping sign through that one. Cursor feels awfully twitchy. I'm sure that maybe I've been playing this mostly on my main account the last few weeks, and I'm sure I've got the cursor setting different on that one. Must remember to check that. So almost done. London Road's the last one before we reach Brighton. And then that will actually have been some shift that we've put in. A lot of traffic around at this time. Does feel like quite a busy route most of the time. If you do the really stupid early morning or the last train at night, then obviously not. But by and large, there is quite a lot of traffic on the route. Jump out and have a quick look if I can find the flaming click spot. There we go. Let's see if there's anything to be had up here. I don't know how far we can go. We can get quite far out. Better not go too far though, huh? Oh! Cycle points installed, okay. Better head back down to the cab. And we're off. Love this approach. It's there's so much scenery. It's such a nice view coming in here. Again, Brighton often feels quite busy as well. Lots of stuff standing at the platforms. This is definitely a route that's ripe for extension as well, up to London Way. Or I don't know how far out beyond Eastbourne Hastings is to make it a complete run out there, or could go west out towards Bognor and out towards Littlehampton and places like that. I know those places because I used to have a load of South Coast scenery for the first train simulator game back in the day. Oh, I could have got much further forward. And there we have it. So that was the East Coastway, the passenger side of it. That's more or less all of the trips. There are variations thereof. A couple of other things. There are you know, the taking trains in and out of service from the depots and stuff. Very short hops. And I'll have a look at the freight stuff and the the rail tour stuff, I think, in another stream, because been at this a bit longer than I thought, because I thought it was about 20-25 minutes a run for some reason. A little bit longer than that, so it's a decent length. It's 35-40 minutes each way. The Great Western take you about that, a non-stopping service, so it's not as short as, it doesn't feel as short as I thought it might when I heard the length of it at first. Definitely their most polished one yet. Would definitely recommend it to anybody who's a fan of UK railways. Some nice modern electric stock there. All the bells and whistles working as well. So, aye, that was good. That's where I'm going to wrap it up though. So, I enjoyed driving it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And I'll catch you all again at some point soon, I hope. But for now, thank you and good night.